All right, welcome to another deep dive, everyone. Today we're tackling something I think we all see every day, probably even multiple times a day.
Multiple times an hour, maybe.
Yeah, you might be right about that. We're talking about those ubiquitous TikTok memes. And, going beyond just their entertainment value, this is about how they might be shaping the future of social media.
That's right. We got a really fascinating collection of research and articles from you all about this.
Hmm.
Our goal is to sort of, sift through all of that and distill it down to the most thought-provoking insights.
Exactly. We're not just looking at the memes themselves, but, what their popularity tells us about how we're connecting, how we're consuming information in this digital age.
And I think one of the big questions that kept popping up in the material you sent was, is this like, is TikTok with its meme-driven format the blueprint for the future of social media?
Right. Or are we looking at something way more unpredictable? Like, is this just the beginning of a more chaotic kind of online world?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I think to start unpacking that, it's worth recognizing that TikTok has really become this like meme factory, pumping them out.
At an unbelievable rate, too.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the first things that really jumped out at me when I was going through all this stuff you sent. It's just the sheer speed at which TikTok memes go viral.
Compared to other platforms, right?
Yeah, way faster than what we saw on Instagram, Facebook, even YouTube.
So what's fueling that? What's making them spread so quickly?
Well, the algorithm plays a huge role, specifically the For You page. And that's different from like a chronological feed. You're not just seeing what the people you follow are posting in the order they posted it.
Right. It's all personalized. It's picking
Yeah,
out what it thinks you're going to want to watch.
exactly. And so theoretically, anyone, even if they have a small following, can have their video, suddenly seen by millions.
And when you combine that with the format itself, right, short videos, looping, often with music, they're kind of, I don't know, addictive almost. Like you said, they're designed for that constant scrolling.
And that makes them perfect for spreading really fast.
Mm.
It's not like a long YouTube video or, a long article that takes time to digest.
It's interesting, though, because despite that speed, their lifespan is also quite short. A meme might be super popular for like a week and then just kind of disappear.
Yeah, and I think the perfect example of that is, remember the sea shanty trend? It went from 0 to 100 real quick. Brands were using it, everyone was singing sea shanties, but then it just kind of faded away.
Like it never happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got this like really fast life cycle. What else makes these TikTok memes unique?
Well, what stood out to me in a lot of the stuff you sent is how they can be a form of cultural commentary.
Right, like those millennials versus Gen Z memes, for example.
Yeah. Those are poking fun at generational differences, but they're also, reflecting real anxieties and experiences. And it's not just lighthearted stuff either.
Yeah, you're totally right. Even politics have become memeified, like that whole Dark Brandon thing.
Right. It's a way for people to engage with political ideas, but through this, like, ironic meme lens.
And what I found really interesting is how TikTok can revive older things, too. Like that Fleetwood Mac song, Dreams, that went viral a couple years back.
Oh, yeah, because of that guy's skateboarding and drinking cranberry juice.
Exactly. Suddenly, this song from like the 70s is back on the charts. TikTok has this weird ability to unearth things from the past.
It's like a cultural time machine in a way. And if you were to compare that to how memes used to spread on other platforms, it really highlights the difference in speed. TikTok memes are like cheetahs sprinting, really fast and intense,
Yeah.
but then they just disappear.
Whereas on Instagram or something, it's more like a slow, gradual build, like a tortoise, maybe?
Yeah, that's a good analogy. So, okay, we've talked about what makes these TikTok memes unique, how quickly they spread. But how is all of this changing the bigger picture of social media?
Right. What's the lasting impact?
One of the biggest shifts I saw highlighted in the stuff you sent was a move away from text-based content. TikTok is all about video.
You're right. Captions are almost secondary.
And I think that's had a ripple effect on other platforms.
Yeah.
Suddenly, every social media company is rushing to incorporate short-form video, like Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts.
They're all trying to catch up.
They're all trying to catch up because they recognize the power of this format.
And it's not just the visuals either, right? There's the audio, the music, those sound snippets.
Yeah, like that, oh no, our table sound. It gets used in all sorts of different contexts.
It's become its own language almost.
Yeah, a shorthand for a specific emotion or reaction.
Mm.
And then you have those weird trends that are harder to explain, like the NPC live stream phenomenon, people role-playing as video game characters.
Yeah. It's like performance art, but also kind of unsettling, you know?
It makes you think about how we're interacting with digital content, right?
Yeah.
It's like, are we becoming more passive consumers?
There was actually a quote from a social media analyst in one of the articles you sent that I thought really summed it up well. They said, TikTok has gamified attention. What does that mean?
Basically, that every scroll, every new video is like a little dopamine hit. It's designed to keep you hooked. And memes become the currency of this attention economy.
So it's all about capturing and holding our focus. But what about the potential downsides of all of this? What's the dark side of this meme culture?
Well, there's a lot of concern about the impact on mental health, especially attention spans. When you're constantly consuming this rapid-fire content, it could be training our brains to crave that constant stimulation.
It's hard to focus on anything for too long when you're used to that pace.
And then there's the issue of misinformation. Memes are designed to be easily digestible, quickly shareable, and that can make them a perfect vehicle for spreading false information.
Especially when they're wrapped up in humor. It's like you're laughing, but are you actually absorbing something that's not true?
Right. And the humor can make it harder to discern what's real and what's not. And then there's the whole copyright nightmare that comes with viral content. Like, who owns these dances that become memes? Remember this Savage Challenge lawsuit?
Yeah. It's like the Wild West out there when it comes to ownership of digital content.
Absolutely. And then there's this subjective line, right? When does a trend stop being fun and become cringe?
Oh, yeah. I think we've all seen memes that were funny at first, but then got overused to the point where they became annoying.
And some trends even went beyond cringe and became problematic, even dangerous, like that Devious Licks challenge where kids were vandalizing schools, or the milk crate challenge where people were, getting hurt trying to climb stacks of milk crates.
It's a reminder that these trends can have real-world consequences. So, with all of that in mind, what's next for memes for social media?
Well, one prediction I saw a lot was the role of AI. Imagine AI generating memes.
Wow, that's both fascinating and a little terrifying.
Right. It could lead to highly personalized memes, but also raises concerns about authenticity and even, the potential for more sophisticated forms of misinformation. And then there's the idea of memes becoming more private, moving away from these huge public platforms to smaller, more curated communities.
Kind of like a return to the early days of the internet, maybe.
Yeah, it's possible. And then there's the metaverse and VR. How will memes evolve in those immersive environments?
That's a whole other frontier to consider. Imagine three-dimensional memes interacting with you in a virtual world.
It's mind-blowing to think about. Of course, looming over all of this is the question of TikTok's future. Will it be able to maintain its dominance?
It's facing challenges, potential bans, competition from other platforms, so it's not guaranteed.
So where does all of this leave us? I think the big question for everyone listening is, where do you see memes going? What's your gut feeling about the future of this form of communication?
It's a constantly evolving landscape, and your perspective as a user is valuable. But I think what's clear from all the research you sent is that TikTok memes are more than just silly online trends. They're a powerful force in how we connect, how we understand culture, how we process information.
And that rapid, transformative nature raises a big question. Is this meme-driven world a positive evolution of social interaction, or a potential threat to how we engage with each other and the world around us?
That's for each of you to decide. We don't have the answers, but hopefully this deep dive has given you some food for thought. Thanks for sending us your research and for joining us on this exploration.